Hello and welcome everybody to this Fabric Espresso. I'm joined here today by Sowmya, and we're going to talk about something new, something cool, and it's called utilization reports, but for DW. But first of all, Sowmya, please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm Sowmya. I'm a product manager on the Fabric Data Warehouse team.
Okay, awesome. So Sowmya, can you talk a bit about what the new feature is and what we're able to do with it?
Yeah, of course. So the feature we're going to talk about today is data warehouse utilization reporting in the Fabric Capacity Metrics app. But before I jump into the app itself, I want to level set and talk about capacities for a second, just as a reminder. So as we all know, capacities form the foundation of Fabric, where customers purchase a SKU and they're entitled to a set of capacity units. And workspaces are assigned to capacities, and everything inside a workspace like warehouse, lakehouse, dataset, etc., they consume these units based on their usage. So today in this video, we'll specifically talk about capacity consumption of data warehouse and how admins can monitor that in the Fabric Capacity Metrics app. Now, this includes both warehouse and SQL endpoint of the lakehouse. And some of the main customer problems that this feature solves for are A, it helps in understanding the overall compute cost of running operations in a warehouse. And B, it helps to identify capacity unit trends across all warehouse items, basically which warehouse is taking up the most compute, etc. And C, it helps to drill down and identify more granular details like the users that ran an operation or the specific operation ID for further troubleshooting, especially when admins observe that certain operations are taking most of their compute and how they can go about troubleshooting that. So these are some of the main customer problems that this feature solves for.
It's awesome. Very, very important, of course, to know what you're using, how much you're using, and all that. So let's dive into a demo.
So here we are inside a workspace in Fabric. I have a workspace where a bunch of my peers are collaborating and have created multiple items. I just created this warehouse called Warehouse 1 Sow. Within this warehouse, I ran a data load script to load TPCDS benchmark data, and I also did some basic queries against it. Now let's go to the Capacity Metrics app to see what this usage is reflected as. For context, Capacity Metrics app allows admins to monitor the performance of workloads and their usage compared to purchase capacity. It also unifies telemetry from all Fabric workload experiences into a single place. I have now filtered for the capacity that I'm an admin of. Right out of the bat, this graph tells me the different Fabric items that are running in this capacity. And as you can see, it's color coded, and the warehouse is probably the one that's being mostly used by the peers working on this capacity. The table below shows me the items view, which is aggregated usage information across different items that are part of workspaces tied to this capacity. I specifically select warehouse, as that's what I'm most interested in right now. Now, this shows me the list of all warehouses and SQL endpoint usage across different workspaces. So if I scroll down a bit, this is the warehouse that I just created and ran queries against, which is Warehouse 1 Sow. The compute that's associated with my activity is represented by the operation name called warehouse query. Now, my peer has created a SQL endpoint over the lakehouse for his analysis. The compute associated with his activity is represented by the operation name SQL endpoint query. Now, I want to pause here for a bit because as both warehouse and SQL endpoint are running with the same SQL compute, they roll up under this warehouse dropdown. Now let's look at the time point drill through graph. This graph allows admins to select specific time points to further zoom in and explore usage data. As I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the call, the capacity units are based on the SKU that is purchased. So this dotted line represents the upper limits based on the purchased capacity. Now, as an admin, I'm zooming in different time points, and I'm very interested in this specific time point. As I can see, it's trending towards that dotted line, which is my CU limit. Now I click on the Explore button. Now the compute associated with Warehouse and SQL Endpoint are labeled as background operations to take advantage of 24-hour smoothing of activity to allow for the most flexible usage patterns. Now, all background operations appear in this table below. This provides more granular details into specific operations like start time, end time, the status, the user that ran an operation, the duration in seconds, and also the total capacity units that were consumed for that specific operation. And if I scroll a bit further, it also provides the operation ID. Now, this is nothing but the distributed statement ID, which is a unique identifier that can be used across several monitoring tools like DMVs for further triaging and troubleshooting. In addition, admins can also use this filter pane to search for specific operations here, or they can filter for specific items. For instance, I've specifically filtered for warehouse only. So to summarize, we saw how activities performed inside warehouse or SQL endpoint translates into compute utilization and how that's getting reported in the Fabric Capacity Metrics app.
Awesome. This basically shows us that now we do have a way to actually analyze the capacity that we're using and actually plan for what we might need in the future as well. So these tools come in very, very handy. Now, if you have any questions about this specific video or other videos or other features, make sure you write them in the comments and we'll definitely get back to you. If this was the first time you're visiting our channel and you liked the video, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you get more of this Fabric content. Now, as always, from the Fabric Espresso team, this is Stijn.
And Sowmya.
Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.